Welcome to the Brain Scrub, Moving Beyond Burnout. My name is Glenn Sollers, and thanks for tuning in to today's episode on the importance of saying no. Now, I know this all too well because not saying no to things got me partially to achieving burnout because I wanted to take on more and more because there was something I needed to prove. I needed to prove that I was good enough. So I had to say yes instead of no. I didn't assert my interests and got me in trouble. And a lot of us do this because when you think about the word no, it means a negative response to a request. Essentially, that's what it means. But who taught us the word no? Our parents taught us the word no. And we attach meaning to words. And when I was young, I was not allowed to say no. And if I did say no, I would get parents who were upset. And I learned I better say yes and do what I'm told. And that will make people happy. That's what I ended up doing. And we carry this burden, if you will, about no throughout our lives. And then we wonder, why can't I just say no to people? Well, because at a young age, you learned that saying no was not a good thing to do. There were negative consequences. Maybe it was people won't like me. I won't feel good enough. I won't fit in. I better just say yes. But no is important because if we don't do it, we take more and more on, and then we may wonder why we're getting so stressed out. And this came to me earlier this week when I spoke to somebody that I knew that I was going to coach a while back, and she was stressed out when she spoke to me originally, but we never went forward with the coaching sessions, probably because she had no time. I don't know what the reason was, but she wanted to be coached because there was a lot of pressure in the job. So I talked to her. I said, how are things going? She said, oh my gosh, Glenn, things are going so much better. I am starting to set boundaries. I am saying no to people. People are now getting used to my new way of being. I have more time in my life to do the things I love. And we only have so much time. And sometimes we end up saying yes to everybody else. And then we don't have time for ourselves and wonder, well, why is it that I'm so frustrated and upset and not content in my life? This episode, I want to talk about how to learn how to say no. And I know it's just a simple thing, but if you can get confident in saying your no with not just like raising your voice and saying no, but with an emotionally neutral no, people will get it because people will know if your no is not really a no. They will push you further. And I'm sure most of you understand this. If you're calling somebody to resolve a customer service issue and they say no, you may push and push and push, but I'll push until I know that I can't break through any more no's. And it's amazing what comes about if you just say no to people without anything added to it. No reasoning, no rationale. Now, I'm not saying creating a culture of no with your organizations, your families, or whatever it might be. However, there is a point where you have to say no. You've provided all the reasons, you've provided all the rationale, you've collaborated, tried to resolve the situation, and it's not working. Then say no. But stop and then move on. Don't worry about, oh, I wonder what they're thinking about me. Oh, I probably got them upset. Oh, they may not like me. These are beliefs that one needs to investigate, like fears of saying no. If I say no, what am I fearful of? And for me, I was fearful of disconnection. People would not like me. I'd be alone. I would miss out on something. And this is a big one nowadays, fear of missing out. I would be less likable. Like there's so many things that I felt would happen, but I focus more on the negative consequences of me saying no versus when people say no, I believe it actually builds respect because you're asserting what you need, which is so important. So it's a sign of confidence and self-assurance. So number one is, what is your fear of saying no? And you can reflect back to when you were younger, which is probably a great thing to do, to come up with some answers on that. How was no utilized in your family? How is that reflected now in how you assert your interests? What are you hanging on to? How is that impacting you? What are the pros? What are the cons? What would happen if you started saying no to people? How might that change your life? What would you gain from it? How would that impact your stress levels? These are some questions to ask yourself. Once you do that, you then can take the next step forward around taking a deep inhale and just saying no. And repeat it until you get to a point where you say no and you notice there's no emotional attachment, there is no fear, there is just relaxation in your body, in your face. There's nothing going on with your tone. It's just very neutral. And a great way to practice this is to stand in front of the mirror and to keep on doing it and just watch what shows up as you're doing it. I had to practice this, and I did get to a point where I saw it happen. I felt it. And now I have no problems saying no without adding anything to it. No means no. And many of us fear it because many of us want to please other people. We're afraid of the negative consequences. We are afraid of people not liking us. So many different things, like I mentioned earlier, that could result in this. Versus, I'm important. I must assert what's important to me. Not negating what's important to my organization or my family. Of course, that needs to be taken into consideration. But by setting your boundaries, by making it clear to other people that you're going to start setting your boundaries, because you want to set yourself up for success and you want to set others up for success so they know what you're up to. This will elevate respect amongst others, respect for yourself. I hope you know what I mean. Thanks for listening.